Good evening and welcome to Crafting by Moonlight. This evening we are going to be making quill pens, and as you can see it's more of a modern version. Give me 1 second. There we go. This is a regular ballpoint pen tip that has been inserted into a turkey feather. So I did my daughter's 7th birthday last year as a Harry Potter themed birthday. And one of the things that I loved about Harry Potter is whenever you watch the movies, you see the kids writing with quill pens. And you can tell that some of them, like up close, are the dipping kind, and they're actually dipped and written and whatnot, like Harry Potter in the Chamber of Secrets. But there's been other times in the movies where they're doing their homework, and all you do is see them constantly writing like this without stopping to do anything else. So it dawned on me what they had done is they inserted a pen tip, a ballpoint pen tip, into a feather. And I thought it would be a really neat idea for the kids, because a later tutorial I'm going to show you how to do spell books for a Harry Potter themed birthday party. Also, I use these at the Renaissance Fair that I work at because we have to stick to the 1500s, the Elizabethan era, and it's one of the things that they used to write with. But since, obviously we can't constantly use dipped quill pens, this was an easy solution. So in order to make this wonderful, fantastic thing, it's very simple, that a new crafter can do. It's not complicated at all. All you need is turkey feathers. I got these at Michael's, and these were actually in the kids crafting section, and I think I got 6 or 7 of them in a pack. And I stuck with the more natural, not bright colors. I got a tan. There was like a package of yellow, tan, red. I think there was a dark brown and maybe another like white or something colors. And like I said, these are the cheap ones. You can always get more nicer feathers if you really like using them. And you can get those offline. There's a feather company that I usually use. I will link that in the description box below. But for now, let's go ahead and see how I made these. So first things first, you now have seen the final product, so I'm going to get that out of the way. And for this tutorial, I think I'll use this light beige colored one. You're going to need a turkey feather. You're going to need either a really cheap ballpoint pen, which I got these at the Dollar Tree. And the only thing I don't like about these is when you pull them out, this tip, this nub here, once this comes off, it's nothing but the ink pen. So there's no tip on the end of it. So it's the only thing I don't like about these, and these are the ones that I used for this one. As you can see, I used that tip. But I also have a broken RSVP pen that I accidentally had broken the tip off of that, as you can see. So the pen is pretty much useless, but this can be salvaged, and I think we're going to use this evening. So we're going to need this, a pair of scissors, and a glue gun. So as I said in my last tutorial, I normally don't like using glue guns. It's not something I like doing, but in this case, we will use them for the purposes of the video. So I'll actually make 2 so I can show you how to insert these if you buy the cheap ones, or how to insert these without that extra plastic tip on the end to give you a cleaner look. So first things first, we're going to go ahead and cut the tip, and we don't want to cut too much. I need to do this. There we go. We don't want to cut too much off of our tip. Maybe just right past the white mark on the quill. So with the red one up close, you can see probably to right about there. Right about there. So not too far down the shaft, because we're going to be shoving this pin right inside. So as you can see, I already started to stick it through, and then you shove it down as far as you can, which you're not going to be able to get it all the way because up here is where it closes off. But you just want to kind of get a clear estimate of how long this part needs to be. So then we'll take this out and kind of measure it. We're going to have it stop right about there. So probably we'll go up a little bit more and then cut down a little bit. So I'm going to say right about here is where I want to cut it. So I'm going to take my pen and my scissors, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. And sometimes ink will leak out the bottom of this, so you got to just be a little bit careful. But we're going to go ahead and take our tip now and reinsert it back into our feather. See, it's a little too long, so that's okay. You want it longer than shorter because you want to give it as much length as you can, only because once this runs out, you could refill it, but you're going to go through the same process again, or you might just throw it away. Okay, so this one is better, and I can't get, there we go. It's focusing a little bit more. Try to cover that up so it focuses on the pen. So as you can see, this is more flushed, and also you want to write with it to see if this is what you want. So I like that. I think that's a good length. So what we're going to do is now we're going to stick very carefully. Get the glue flowing, if I can, out of my glue gun. Okay, so now it's flowing. So we want to try to see if we can drip it or tap it right there at the opening of the shaft. We don't need a lot, okay, just enough. As you can see, there's just a little bit there. And while it's still hot, very carefully, once again, we're going to shove this back through and shove it down. Okay. And then we're going to needs a new glue stick. Okay, there we go. And we're going to just go ahead and build up the tip a little bit with that hot glue. And by doing that, not only are we securing what we call a nib, not only are we securing the nib to the actual feather, but we're also kind of building up the shaft a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to use. So I like to twirl this around and spread it just a little bit, so I have somewhat of a build up, so that when I go to write with this, it fits well and it feels comfortable in my fingers. And then, like I said, I actually use these at Renaissance fairs, the Renaissance fair that I work at, where we run around all day long with things like this. All right. So as you can see, I'm going to kind of twirl and blow on it a little bit to kind of get that glue down. And then once it's able, I can touch it without burning myself, which is about right now. I can kind of start wrapping it. It's still a little hot, not too hot though. I can actually run my fingers around it without extremely burning. So by doing this, I encapsulated this. So now I won't be able to pull this out, which is okay. You know, it's not that big of a deal. It does last for a while. I have the yellow one that I've had for about since last September. And I use it, just not on a daily basis, but I use it enough to where it's lasts a while. So I'm going to rest that right there. And I'll go ahead and pull that out. So you can see I haven't used very much of it at all, which is nice. And I actually keep this in my Ren Fair box. I pulled it out for you guys. And now we're going to do the second one while this is drying. So I'm going to set this off to the side so I can cut this. So once again, we're going to cut at the tip. So as you can see, I'm not cutting, there we go. I'm not cutting too much off of this. I'm only really cutting just the tip. And can't really see that too well, but that white spot in the middle is actually a fiber of the natural feather. So once again, you actually need to shove all that fibrous stuff down and kind of clear the shaft. So by doing that though, you're packing it up here. So you are giving yourself less space, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. Like I said, these are meant to be kind of novels or something that you don't use all the time. And they're very inexpensive to make, so you can make as many as you need throughout the year if you use them more than once. Halloween favors or something like that. So once again, we're going to trim. And by the way, your scissors, nice black ink on them. I have a habit of wiping them on my clothes. So 9 times out of 10 when I do my tutorials, you'll see me in crafting outfits, pretty much. Okay, so this one actually is a little bit tiny. It's actually a little bit smaller than I wanted it to be, but that's okay. So then once again, we're going to try to repeat the process of slowly injecting hot glue without burning ourselves into that hole. Then we're going to take our ink and shove that in there, kind of help with that. And then for this one, since it has the little plastic tip, and it's already setting up, which is nice, you can always kind of run it on the shaft a little bit, and then just stick it back in there. And then once that glue cools down a little bit, you can rub it on to that area, which should be okay by now. Tried quicker than I expected. So there you go. Add a little bit more glue, kind of to strengthen up what you got going on. Make a little, like a finger holder, kind of, finger grip. Very simple, very easy to make for even people that are not or don't consider themselves crafty. I believe everybody is crafty in their own way. My husband, who happens to be more of a mathematician and scientist, can't draw a stick figure to save his life, but the man does amazing work with a Dremel. So, but I could never, I actually probably could pick up a Dremel, but I'm not as crafty at it as something like this. So just blow it off a little bit to cool it down. And once it's cooled down, you can wipe it off, wipe off the excess. Just don't get it on the tip. Might even need to hold it in a little bit. The other one didn't pop out. This one is, though. So, and there you are. You now have your own personal quill tip pins. So once again, thanks for watching. My name is Alice, and I will see you next time. And by the way, once again, I will link in the description box below where you can get some feathers, and I will be using those feathers in other tutorials as well. Also, Michael's, and once again with that, make sure you use your coupons. If you're doing anything for parties or any events, use the coupons. Like I said, print out a week's worth of coupons and take advantage of that. 1 coupon per person per day, so you can get friends to go with you and then you can have a much easier party with that. So if you like it, please like and subscribe down below in the comments. Feel free to leave some, please, and we'll see you next time.